Do you believe you truly know your friends? Do you think the people around you love and accept you for who you really are, or only for who you appear to be? Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist and founder of analytical psychology, offered a sobering answer. What we often call friendship is frequently a fragile illusion, built on masks, projections, and unexamined parts of the self. Beneath the surface of even our most cherished relationships lies a psychological complexity that most people are unaware of and unwilling to face. Jung's theories offer not just a critique of human connection, but also a map for reclaiming authenticity and creating deeper bonds. But the journey begins by stripping away comforting lies. 1. The persona. Why no one really knows you. Every day, from the moment we wake up, we slip into a role, often unconsciously. We present a version of ourselves tailored for acceptance, approval, and survival in a complex social world. Jung called this facade the persona. Derived from the Latin word for the theatrical mask, the persona is not inherently evil or deceptive. It allows us to navigate social situations, maintain civility, and avoid unnecessary conflict. However, the danger lies in mistaking the persona for the self. Over time, we become so identified with the roles we play, the helpful friend, the professional achiever, the supportive partner, that we forget who we are without them. And if we don't even know ourselves, how can anyone else? This is the first fracture in genuine friendship. People relate not to your essence, but to your curated image. And you in turn relate to their masks. The result? Years, even decades, of shared time without true intimacy. People can be close in proximity, but galaxies apart in truth. Friendship, as Jung warned, often becomes an interaction between two personas rather than two whole individuals. 2. The shadow. What you hide will haunt you. Jung introduced another crucial concept, the shadow. This is the dark side of our psyche, consisting of all the traits, emotions, and impulses we deny, repress, or disown. The shadow isn't just composed of what society deems bad, like anger, envy, or selfishness, but also of the positive qualities we were discouraged from expressing. A child taught to suppress ambition or confidence may bury these strengths deep within the shadow. And here's the danger. What remains unacknowledged doesn't disappear. It distorts. The more we push something into the unconscious, the more it finds indirect and often destructive ways to express itself. An overly agreeable person may one day explode with rage. A loyal friend may suddenly betray. A calm and controlled individual may collapse under emotional strain. The shadow also impacts how we relate to others. We often project our denied traits onto those around us, seeing in them what we refuse to see in ourselves. Until we confront and integrate our shadow, Jung argued, we remain strangers not only to others, but to ourselves. And this inner estrangement makes authentic friendship nearly impossible. You cannot show up fully in a relationship when you're busy hiding half of who you are, especially when you're not even aware of it. 3rd projection. The lies we tell ourselves about others. One of Jung's most challenging insights is the idea of projection, the unconscious transfer of our inner world onto the people around us. Projection is how we protect our ego from uncomfortable truths. Instead of facing our own insecurities, fears, or unresolved emotions, we see them in others. For example, someone who fears their own emotional vulnerability might criticize others for being too sensitive. Someone who denies their need for control might accuse others of being manipulative. This mechanism also fuels idealization. When we fall in love or form fast friendships, we often aren't connecting with the actual person. We're connecting with an idealized image, a reflection of our own inner needs. We're not seeing the other, we're seeing ourselves disguised as the other. Eventually, the projection breaks down. The friend you once adored suddenly seems selfish, boring, or toxic, but they haven't changed. Your lens has. The spell of projection wears off, and with it, the illusion of connection. Jung's solution? Radical self-awareness. By recognizing our projections, we begin to relate to others as they truly are, not as we imagine or need them to be. 4. The collective. Unconscious. Archetypes behind our relationships. Another of Jung's revolutionary ideas is the collective unconscious, a deep layer of the psyche shared by all humans, containing universal patterns and symbols known as archetypes. In friendships, we often unconsciously adopt these archetypal roles: the wise advisor, the rescuer, the entertainer, the loyal sidekick. These roles feel natural because they're embedded in the human psyche, but they're also limiting. You may be the reliable friend because your social group expects it. You may always play the helper, even when you're emotionally depleted. These roles create predictability, but prevent authentic individuality. Moreover, we often seek out friends who fit complementary roles to our own. The emotionally repressed person befriends the expressive one. The insecure clings to the confident. These relationships can be deeply comforting, but often lack mutual understanding. True friendship, Jung taught, arises when individuals see past the archetypal masks and connect as unique, complex beings, not just as players in a collective drama. 5. Why most friendships don't survive crisis. Have you ever noticed how some friendships dissolve during major life transitions? Illness, grief, career change, divorce. That's not random. During times of crisis, people's shadow traits emerge, masks slip, and projections break down. The friend who always supported you might suddenly become judgmental. The one who seemed understanding may turn cold. Jung observed that this collapse often happens because the relationship was based on roles, masks, or projections, not on the real, whole person. Crises don't ruin friendships, they reveal them. To build resilient bonds, we must relate from a place of wholeness, not performance. And that wholeness comes only through deep self-inquiry. 6. Loneliness in a crowd, the price of unawareness. Jung offered a stark conclusion. Most people are fundamentally alone, not because others are absent, but because real psychological contact is rare. If we're always wearing masks, denying our shadow, and projecting our wounds, then we're not truly seen, nor are we seeing others. We live in a hall of psychological mirrors, mistaking reflection for reality, surrounded by people, yet untouched by true intimacy. This is the spiritual loneliness Jung warned about, but he also offered a way out. 7. The path to authentic connection. Authentic friendship is possible, but it demands courage. It requires the willingness to take off the mask, the bravery to face your shadow, the discipline to withdraw your projections, and the consciousness to resist slipping into archetypal roles. This kind of friendship is rare, because most people are not prepared to do this inner work. But when two individuals engage with each other from a place of psychological integration, when they are aware of their personas, honest about their shadows, and committed to seeing the other person clearly, then, and only then, can a real bond form. These relationships are not always smooth or easy, but they are deeply nourishing because they are based on truth, not illusion. Jung's unsettling gift. Carl Jung didn't romanticize the human psyche. He illuminated its dark corners with precision and empathy. His insights on friendship may be unsettling, but they are also liberating. He showed us that what passes for connection is often performance, that we project more than we perceive, that our inner world silently shapes every outer bond. But Jung didn't stop at disillusionment. He pointed toward transformation. The same forces that distort our relationships can be harnessed to deepen them. By becoming conscious of our personas, shadows, projections, and archetypes, we can reclaim not just our friendships, but our very selves. In a world of masks, to see and be seen is a radical act. True friendship, as Jung warned, is not for the faint of heart, but it is one of the most meaningful experiences a conscious human being can pursue.